Aya lives in Anyama Belleville, a neighborhood on the outskirts of Abidjan. Despite her pregnancy, she carries several 20-liter cans per day between her home and this watering place. In fact, it is almost a week that water no longer flows from taps here in Anyama Belleville. There is no water. We can't take showers. It is difficult to use the toilet. We are very tired. I have had 3 miscarriages already because I used to lift heavy bottles. And thank God, I was able to stay with my family. There's no water.
Moi, je suis dans ce quartier depuis 2012.
I have been living in this area since 2012. We still encounter the same problem. The water tower has been shut down. There's no water. We rarely have abundant water flowing.
We have to go through a third party to have water. We can stay 2 or 3 weeks without seeing a drop of water for our homes. And this is a real headache because no one can live without water. It's not like electricity because we can use flashlights, candles, but nothing can replace water. We are suffering here and we can't just get up and go to Sodesi. We can't just say let's use the radio stations or go to the television station. It is a good thing that you came and witnessed this. What is happening here? These are only half of our bottles of water, but if each one was to bring his, the street would be covered and you won't be able to get by. We use water to clean homes, to cook. We need water for laundry. We are in the city, while villages have water. What are we going to do? In Abobo, Trècheville and Yopougon, the situation is the same in several disadvantaged neighborhoods of the economic capital of Côte d'Ivoire, a result of a decade of political crisis that saw the sector's investments retract. Moreover, the existing infrastructure no longer supports the sustained pace of urbanization. The Ivorian government has set a target of increasing the drinking water coverage rate to 82.5% on average by 2020, compared with less than 70% currently. In the meantime, fountains have been installed in certain districts, as here in Abobo, PK 18. Water is scarce here, and we are very tired to carry these basins every day, and we need to find a solution. There was a problem with the private water meter. If there is no water, they used to go all the way to Bobo. When they don't have water, they can still use the borehole. We pay 25 CFA francs for a basin, but before this, we were paying 10 francs, and it was difficult for us. When we told them, they gave us a chart to fill, and then we have decided to apply the 25 francs fee even for the bottles. Today, more than 300 million people do not have access to safe drinking water in Africa. Only half of the countries on the continent can claim to have reached the target of 50% of the population with access to drinking water. In its subsoil, however, the continent has several billion cubic meters of water reserves. This resource is 100 times greater than the amount of water on the surface. However, there is a lack of distribution infrastructure that would allow people to access drinking water. In recent years, water supply has developed on the continent, but it concerns the minority of urban dwellers who are able to pay for a connection and a subscription.
Le niveau d'accès d'eau en Afrique est de manière générale.
The level of access to water in general is a paradox which means that it is not in countries that have the most water we have the best access. On the contrary, countries with less water have better access. We were in Morocco, a country that has access to above 85 to 90%, to say the least. With the quantities of water there, Morocco manages to provide water to the populations in a healthy way with a very good quality. Some regions that have Great Lakes, which have a lot of water, do not manage to satisfy the populations, and it becomes a problem of infrastructure because of the problems of management of the sector.
Et des problèmes de management du secteur.
Peut-être poser déjà les bases. Premier élément, c'est qu'effectivement, l'eau ne manque pas en Afrique. Nous avons beaucoup d'eau en Afrique.
Perhaps set up the basis, because first of all, water is not lacking in Africa. We have lots of water in Africa. The major issue today is its mobilization that requires huge investment to have access. Today we have found a new approach, since our states are struggling to find investments to mobilize resources, and resources we already have should be optimized. And as we said, we have a program that has shown that between 30% and 35% of the water we produce is not billed. You will agree with me that if we only manage to reduce these irregularities by even one half, it could lead to a delay in investment. It is now the role of the scientific and technical council to have the tools to improve performance, and today, in the face of our objectives of sustainable development, to make better use of the resource and to reduce the waste.
The Scientific and Technical Council of the African Water Association, which met recently in Morocco, addressed a number of problems facing Africa in terms of access to drinking water. These problems include water utilities, water distribution in Africa, sanitation services and climate change issues, as well as training of water company staff. At the end of the meeting, the Council adopted a set of actions to be carried out. These include knowledge management and sharing, capacity building sessions for young professionals in the water sector, among others.
Aujourd'hui, notre objectif, c'était d'accroître notre visibilité et surtout pouvoir mettre en ligne ou pouvoir...
Today our objective was to increase our visibility and above all to be able to put online to enable members of the CST to have access to good practices. So it is good to share the right knowledge to enable us to be more effective. At the level of the specialized committee too, we have addressed several aspects, particularly two aspects, a non-invoicing relationship, and we were able to set up a toolbox that will enable us to implement everything and also work on the quality of the water. So we have two programs that overlap. One related to microbiological analysis, and for that we will work on certification of the laboratories. With regard to the specialized committee 3, we are going to work a lot more on the improvement of the drainage. So we have to improve the sanitation, because you know that today it is good to produce water, take good care of the living environment of the people, and that is fundamental in a transversal way, since it is a specialized committee. We have a committee called the Strategic Committee, which deals with all the aspects mentioned on the roadmap and also works on the masterpiece. So we are going to set up training sessions to try to build the capacity of our members.
Des modules de formation qui puissent permettre de renforcer les capacités de nos membres.
The African Water Association is also working on the theme of water and climate change. It also initiated the reflection on this issue at the COP22 held in Morocco. And it is also leading the implementation of the AfWA Alliance project, the Water and Climate Innovation Alliance between Africa and Europe. This project aims to improve African countries' preparedness for climate change issues by stimulating knowledge sharing and collaboration between African and European stakeholders.
Notre programme Afrique Alliance, pour lequel
Our Africa Alliance program, for which we have funding from the European Union, is that we are working in a consortium with 15 members, 15 operators, 15 African and European organizations. So this program helps African operators prepare their response plan to the climate change in the water and sanitation sector. Now, how to reconcile the production of water in the Sahelian regions facing drought, rainfall, or in coastal areas where flooding is taking place? Then in either case, the solutions and practical cases that some countries are experiencing or the own responses to all of this, that is the setting we have, where 15 partners share their lessons learned as well as all the good practices.
Toutes les bonnes pratiques sont partagées.
The African population reached 1 billion by 2016 and continues to grow. According to population projections, by 2050, the population of Africa will be between 2 and 3 billion, of which 57% are urban. This population growth is expected to create significant pressure on water resources. And to face it, the continent will need about 12 billion euros a year to create or strengthen distribution and sanitation infrastructure.
Les sociétés d'eau
Water companies, as part of our organization, are improving in their performance. The prospects are not bad, but the big constraint we have to face is the galloping demographics of Africa. Nearly 1 billion people today, we were 600 million years ago. Very quickly, the African populations are increasing. The cities are increasing rapidly. This means that cities with more than 2 million inhabitants are beginning to become numerous in Africa, and for this, they must be able to satisfy them with quality water, to satisfy them with a quality sanitation service. It is a challenge. We must also redouble our efforts. We need new leaders. We need a new style of management to manage water companies, whether public or private, and they must be managed with objectives to be achieved, with performance indicators.
These questions will be the subject of reflection at the 19th Congress of the African Water Association, scheduled on February 2018 in Bamako, on the theme Accelerating Access to Sanitation and Water Services in the Face of the Challenges of Climate Change.